Human history is a long story of struggle, empires rising and falling, people enduring famine, war, betrayal, and loss. Yet one truth remains constant. Life is unpredictable. In this fragile existence, men and women have always searched for a philosophy that grants them stability when the ground beneath their feet begins to shake. Stoicism emerged as that philosophy, a school of thought born not in luxury but in hardship, tested not in comfort but in fire. Its greatest appeal is not that it promises a painless life, but that it equips you with the mindset to face pain, disappointment, and chaos without breaking. Where other teachings try to remove suffering, Stoicism prepares you to transform it into strength. At the very foundation of Stoic thought lies the distinction between what is in our control and what is beyond it. This idea is deceptively simple, yet it carries the weight of an entire life philosophy. The modern man spends countless hours worrying about how people see him, whether fortune will favor him, whether outcomes will match his desires. But the Stoics remind us, these things are not yours. The weather, the economy, the behavior of others, the judgments of society, they are all external. What belongs to you is smaller, but infinitely more powerful. Your reasoned choice, your attitude, your judgment, your actions. If you learn to live only for what is within your command, then no storm, no insult, no misfortune can steal your peace. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor with unimaginable power, still confessed in his meditations that the greatest empire he sought to rule was his own mind. Here lies the paradox of Stoicism. Even a man who commanded legions and held dominion over continents admitted that the only true mastery was self-mastery. He rose each day not to conquer lands, but to conquer impulses: anger, vanity, despair, pride. His journal reveals not the boasts of an emperor, but the confessions of a man at war with his own weaknesses, reminding himself repeatedly that life is short, that virtue is rare, and that nothing matters more than living rightly. Seneca, a man of wealth and influence, was not blinded by his riches. He understood how fragile they were, how easily they could be taken. For this reason, he practiced voluntary poverty, deliberately living with less, eating coarse bread, wearing simple clothes, so that if fortune turned against him, he would not collapse in fear. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest fare and the coarsest dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" In this exercise lies a profound lesson. By rehearsing loss, we learn not to be slaves of what we possess. Gratitude deepens, fear diminishes, and courage grows. Epictetus, once a slave, had no illusions about control. He could not dictate his chains, his labor, or his condition. But he discovered a truth so radical it changed philosophy forever. Freedom is not granted by circumstance, but by perspective. A tyrant may own your body, but not your mind. A master may dictate your tasks, but not your inner judgment. Even in chains, Epictetus declared himself freer than those who were ruled by anger, greed, or desire. This radical independence of the mind became the cornerstone of Stoic strength, the idea that no external force can dictate how you choose to respond. Today, though slavery and emperors are gone, our chains remain. They are subtler, but no less real. The addiction to validation, the fear of rejection, the endless pursuit of wealth and recognition. People are trapped not in dungeons, but in scrolling feeds, chasing applause that vanishes within hours. The Stoics, if alive today, would remind us that these chains are just as destructive. They would ask us to reclaim our freedom by refusing to let likes or losses determine our worth. True freedom is not owning everything but needing nothing. Another Stoic practice is memento mori, the remembrance of death. At first, this sounds grim, almost depressing, but its purpose is the opposite. By remembering that we are mortal, we sharpen our appreciation for life. Death is not the enemy, but the teacher of urgency. When you know your time is limited, you no longer waste hours in petty quarrels, empty distractions, or endless complaints. You savor your loved ones more deeply, you pursue meaningful goals with more courage, and you let go of bitterness more easily. For the Stoic, the thought of death is not morbid, it is liberating. In modern society, death is hidden. We push it away, disguise it, pretend it belongs to others. But the Stoic invites it into daily thought. Imagine waking each morning with the reminder, "I may not see another dawn." Would you waste the day in anger? Would you spend it scrolling in envy? Or would you use it to build something, to cherish someone, to to strengthen your character. This is the wisdom of memento mori. It is not about dying, but about learning to live fully while you still can. Discipline, too, is a central pillar of Stoicism. Not discipline as harsh punishment, but as mastery of the self. The Stoic learns to command desires rather than be commanded by them. He trains himself to endure hunger, fatigue, insult, temptation, not because he hates pleasure, but because he refuses to be a slave to it. In a world that constantly sells indulgence, eat more, spend more, want more, Stoicism is rebellion. It says freedom lies not in having everything, but in needing little. The Stoic also values silence and reflection. In a noisy age where opinions are broadcasted before they are even fully formed, the Stoic pauses. He asks, is this thought true? Is it useful? Is it necessary? By filtering his words, he filters his mind. He understands that speech has power to heal or to wound, to clarify or to confuse. In choosing silence over rashness, the Stoic demonstrates control not only over his tongue but over his impulses. In times of adversity, Stoicism shows its real worth. It is easy to appear wise when life is smooth, when success flows easily, when health is strong. But when storms rise, betrayal, loss, illness, poverty, then philosophy reveals its value. The Stoic does not collapse into despair. He stands, even when shaking. He endures, even when bleeding. Not because he does not feel pain, but because he refuses to let pain dictate his life. He may grieve, but he does not surrender. He may cry, but he does not curse life. His dignity remains intact, even in ashes. The Stoic also embraces the idea of universal brotherhood. Marcus Aurelius wrote often that we are born not to harm but to help, not to compete but to cooperate. To cheat another is to injure yourself, because all men are part of the same human fabric. This view is revolutionary even today, where division, greed, and selfishness dominate. The Stoic does not see himself as isolated but as a cell within a greater body, and just as a diseased cell harms the body, an unjust man harms the world and himself. Another practice is the evening reflection. The Stoics advised reviewing each day before sleep. What did I do well? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? This simple ritual prevents arrogance in success and despair in failure. It grounds a person in progress, reminding them that the goal is not perfection, but growth. In this daily mirror, the Stoic learns humility and accountability. For the Stoic, fortune is not trusted. Riches can vanish overnight, fame can sour in a moment, health can be broken by a single diagnosis. To depend on these is to gamble with your peace. Instead, the Stoic invests in character, the one treasure fortune cannot steal. A man who has cultivated wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance remains rich even when stripped of everything else. In leadership, Stoicism shines brightest. Imagine a leader who does not panic in crisis, who does not become arrogant in success, who listens before speaking, who governs not for applause but for justice. Such a leader is rare, yet the Stoic ideal demands it. Marcus Aurelius modeled this even while facing plague, rebellion, and betrayal. He ruled not with pride, but with humility, reminding himself daily that he too was mortal and temporary. On a personal level, Stoicism transforms relationships. It teaches you to love without clinging, to give without expecting, to forgive without bitterness. Because you accept the impermanence of life, you no longer suffocate those you love with fear of losing them. Instead, you cherish them deeply while you have them. And if loss comes, you endure with gratitude for the time shared. This balance between love and detachment creates harmony rather than dependency. Modern life often glorifies comfort, yet comfort is a silent poison. It weakens resilience, dulls gratitude, and breeds entitlement. The Stoics instead welcomed discomfort as training. They deliberately faced cold, hunger, or rejection, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they knew strength was forged in difficulty. To practice hardship voluntarily is to be unshaken when hardship arrives without choice. Imagine carrying this philosophy into your own life. You wake and accept that today may bring joy or pain, and you are ready for both. Someone insults you, and instead of burning with rage, you shrug. Their words cannot touch your virtue. Fortune betrays you, and instead of collapsing, you remind yourself, everything external was never truly yours. In this way, the Stoic walks through fire without being consumed. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. The Stoic feels deeply, grief, joy, love, fear, but he does not let these emotions chain him. He acknowledges them, learns from them, and then guides them with reason. Like a skilled rider steering a powerful horse, the Stoic uses emotion as energy but never lets it run wild. This balance creates a life of both depth and stability. In the end, Stoicism is more than a philosophy. It is a way of being. It does not remove storms but teaches you to build shelter. It does not prevent death but shows you how to live fully before it arrives. It does not promise wealth but it delivers inner treasure, resilience, clarity, and peace. In a fragile world, Stoicism remains an unbreakable path, a reminder that the strength you seek is not out there, but already within you, waiting to be claimed.